Yeah, we're going to have some fun with it. Okay, everybody. Appreciate you being here with us tonight. This is the continual reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the great story of the personality of God throughout history, found in the ancient Sanskrit texts that date back thousands of years and tell various stories about great kings and principalities and incarnations of God and appearances of God and the activities that take place surrounding those appearances. So I think you're all going to be duly satisfied with tonight's story because this is after Krishna has grown up from a cowherd boy in Vrindavan and he's left to Mathura. Now he is in Dwarka. He is actually in his royal aspect as king. And Krishna is doing a lot of what he promises to do, and that is Prichanaya Sadanam Vinashaya Cha Duskritam. Duskritam means he comes to annihilate those demons who are causing terror to innocent souls in the material world. And he comes to deliver those saintly persons or those godly persons who are attempting to do good in the world. So those are the sadhunam, and then the duskritam are the bad guys. So today he's killing some bad guys. So I think you're going to find it pretty entertaining. And as usual, I always start out with pranams to my spiritual master, which is Srila Prabhupada. So I'll chant that. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Devim Gaudavani Pracharane, Nirvishesha Sundavari Paschatya Deshatarane, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Giridhara Shivas Adi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda. And you can say with me, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And before we read, we have one special prayer that we pray, and that is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So a very beautiful prayer that we pray in glory of the Lord, Vasudev, and therefore we'll begin reading now. I always read the first 10 or 15, and then if somebody else wants to chime in, please feel free to do so. And if there's any questions, raise your hand or just interject, and we will try to be all inclusive here tonight and answer every question. So we're reading tonight from Lord Krishna Slays the Demon Śālva. That's chapter 77, and that is in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto. So now we've been doing this now for over 3 years, and recording these is as we go. So you can go to our YouTube channel under Gayatri Dasa under YouTube, and you can find many of these previous stories and lectures there. Excuse me. Okay, so here we go. Text 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, after refreshing himself with water, putting on his armor, and picking up his bow, Lord Pradyumna told his driver, take me back to where, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze in a moment. I think in 3 years, this is the first time I've sneezed on one of these recordings. So you got to give me a break, okay? I've been doing pretty good. So I'll start again. Sukadeva Goswami said, after refreshing himself with water, putting on his armor, and picking up his bow, Lord Pradyumna told his driver, take me back to where the hero Dhuman is standing. Now, Pradyumna is Krishna's son. That's his son. In Pradyumna's absence, Dhuman had been devastating his army. But now Pradyumna counterattacked Dhuman and smiling pierced him with 8 Naracha arrows. With 4 of these arrows, he struck Dhuman's 4 horses. With 1 arrow, his driver. With 2 more arrows, his bow and chariot flag. And with the last arrow, Dhuman's head. Text 4. Gada, Satyaki, Samba, and others began killing Śālva's army. And thus all the soldiers inside the airship began falling into the ocean, their necks severed. Now, this is ancient history, and this demon, Śālva, has an airship. And just like a Vimana, they call it a Vimana. It's like what we call UFOs. And so this demon had began attacking Krishna's son's armies. So they're the Yadus. So it says, as the Yadus and Śālva's followers thus went on attacking one another, the tumultuous, fearsome battle continued for 27 days and nights. Invited by Yudhisthira, the son of Dharma, Lord Kṛishna had already gone to Indraprastha. Now that the Rajasuya sacrifice had been completed and Shishupal killed, the Lord began to see inauspicious omens. So he took leave of the Kuru elders and the great sages, and also of Pritha and her sons, and returned to Dwarka. So Dwarka is Krishna's capital city. That's where his capital city is. So the Lord said to himself, because I've come here with my respected elder brother, kings partial to Shishupal, may well be attacking my capital city. So Krishna had been in the middle of these different battles with these great kings who had armies, and they were considered to be demoniac because they were separated from God's will. In other words, they were doing the opposite of God's will. They were doing their selfish purposes, exploiting the citizens for their own sense gratification, and it is not the way we're supposed to be living. We're supposed to be living, especially the kings are supposed to be setting the example, following the Brahmins, which are the priests, and obeying their rules and regulations, even in warfare. So they're not doing that, obviously, at this point. So it says, Sukadeva Goswami continued, after he arrived at Dwarka and saw how his people were threatened with destruction, and also saw Śālva in his Śālva airship, Lord Keshava arranged for the city's defense and then addressed Daruka as follows. Lord Kṛishna said, O driver, quickly take my chariot near Śālva. This Lord of Śālva is a powerful musician. Do not let him bewilder you. Thus ordered, Daruka took command of the Lord's chariot and drove forth. As the chariot entered the battlefield, everyone there, both friend and foe, caught sight of the emblem of Garuda. When Śālva, the master of a decimated army, saw Lord Kṛishna approaching, he hurled his spear at the Lord's charioteer. The spear roared frighteningly as it flew across the battlefield. Śālva's hurling spear lit up the whole sky like a mighty meteor. But Lord Sari tore the great weapon into hundreds of pieces with his arrows. Lord Kṛishna then pierced Śālva with 16 arrows and struck the Śālva airship with a deluge of arrows as it darted about the sky. Firing his arrows, the Lord appeared like the sun, flooding the heavens with its rays. Śālva then managed to strike Lord Kṛishna's left arm, which held his bow Saranga, and amazingly, Saranga fell from his hand. Ooh. So the battle rages on. Okay, so let's continue reading. And who would like to pick it up at text 16? Raghavati looks like she's munching on something pretty diligently.
I can read that.
Vamsa, you want to read? Vamsa, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read.
Okay, would you mind while she finishes?
Yes. Text 16. Those who witnessed this all cried out in dismay. Then the master of Śālva roared loudly and addressed Lord Janardana. Śālva said, "You fool! Because in our presence you kidnapped the bride of our friend Shishupal, your own cousin, and because you later murdered him in the sacred assembly while he was inattentive, today, with my sharp arrows, I will send you to the land of no return. Though you think yourself invincible, I will kill you. Now, if you dare stand before me." The Supreme Lord said, "O dullard, you boast in vain, since you fail to see death standing near you. Real heroes do not talk much, but rather show their prowess in action." Having said this, the furious Lord swung his club with frightening power and speed and hit Śālva on the collarbone, making him tremble and vomit blood. But as soon as Lord Achyuta withdrew his club, Śālva disappeared from sight, and a moment later, a man approached the Lord. Bowing his head down to him, he announced, Devaki has sent me, and sobbing spoke the following words. The man said, O Kṛishna, Kṛishna, mighty armed one, who are so affectionate to your parents, Śālva has seized your father and taken him away as a butcher leads an animal to the slaughter. When he heard this disturbing news, Lord Kṛishna, who was playing the role of a mortal man, showed sorrow and compassion, and out of love for his parents, he spoke the following words like an ordinary conditioned soul. Balram is ever vigilant, and no demigod or demon can defeat him. So how would this insignificant Śālva defeat him and abduct my father? Indeed, fate is all-powerful. After Govinda spoke these words, the master of Śālva again appeared, apparently leading Vasudeva before the Lord. Śālva then spoke as follows. Here is your dear father who begot you, and for those whose sake you are living in this world. I shall now kill him before your very eyes. Save him if you can, weakling. After he had mocked the Lord in this way, the magician Śālva appeared to cut off Vasudeva's head with his sword. Taking the head with him, he entered the Śālva vehicle, which was hovering in the sky. By nature, Lord Kṛishna is full in knowledge, and he possesses unlimited power of perception. Yet for a moment, out of great affection for his loved ones, he remained absorbed in the mood of an ordinary human being. He soon recalled, however, that this was all a demoniac illusion engineered by Maya Danav and employed by Śālva. Now, alert to the actual situation, Lord Achyuta saw before him on the battlefield neither the messenger nor his father's body. It was as if he had awakened from a dream. Seeing his enemy flying above him in his Śālva plain, the Lord then prepared to kill him. Such is the account given by some sages. O wise king, but those who speak in the illogical way are contradicting themselves, having forgotten their own previous statements. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Vamsi. You're a transcendental minute, man. It doesn't matter where you're in the car or where you are.
It's bringing my son from karate. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Well, he'll have to fight with Rangavati. I understand she's a yellow belt.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
I do karate as well.
Okay.
Okay. So, Ranga, would you like to read now?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So, text 31. How can lamentation, bewilderment, material affection, or fear, all born out of ignorance, be ascribed to the infinite Supreme Lord, with whose perception, knowledge, and power are all similarly infinite? By virtue of self-realization, fortified by service rendered to his feet, devotees of the Lord dispel the bodily concept of life, which has bewildered the soul since time immemorial. Thus they attain eternal glory in his personal association. How then can that supreme truth, the destination of all genuine saints, be subject to illusion? While Śālva continued to hold torrents of weapons at him with great force, Lord Kṛishna, whose prowess never fails, shot his arrows at Śālva, wounding him and shattering his army, bow, and crest jewel. Then with his club, the Lord smashed his enemy, Subha's airship. Shattered into thousands of pieces by Lord Kṛishna's club, Subha's airship plummeted into the water. Śālva abandoned it, stationed himself on the ground, took up his club and rushed towards Lord Achyuta. As Śālva rushed at him, the Lord shot a bala dart and cut off his arm that held the club. Having finally decided to kill Śālva, Kṛishna then raised his Sudarshan disc weapon, which resembled the sun at the time of universal annihilation. The brilliantly shining Lord appeared like the easternmost mountain, bearing the rising sun. Employing his disc, Lord Hari removed that great magician's head with its earrings and crown, just as Purandara had used his thunderbolt to cut off Vrata's head. Seeing this, all of Śālva's followers cried out, "Alas! Alas!" With the sinful Śālva now dead and his Suba airship destroyed, the heavens resounded with kettle drums played by groups of demigods. Then Dantavakra, wanting to avenge the death of his friends, furiously attacked the Lord.
So we can come back over this chapter after we read the next chapter. We have another chapter we're going to read tonight, chapter 78. But just to kind of set the scene here, if you've ever seen a great epic movie that is, sprawling landscape, massive army, massive battle scene, unlimited soldiers, elephants, chariots, everyone firing weapons, vimanas flying in the sky. Try to imagine this scene in your mind, because this is the actual circumstance. This is a great, great battle that is taking place. It actually lasted, I think, 27 days, this particular battle. So in the ancient time of the Vedic civilization, when the battle was finished, they would blow a conch shell and everyone would go to their respective camps. They would then take the wounded or dead from the battlefield and care for everybody properly. They would then also engage in their various puja, which means their worship. In other words, everyone was, even the demons were very God conscious at this time, thousands of years ago. So back then, all music was spiritual, for an example. All our culture was based around God. Now we find that culture is based around a rock star, or somebody who's a cool, actor or movie guy, or some rapper or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody wants to be just like the gangster or whatever it might be, Glock people. They're just really trying to imitate this prowess that God demonstrates when he comes to the world. And we've created fictional characters like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, or any other ridiculous idol that we can imagine to put our faith in. Unfortunately, these are fallible soldiers, as Prabhupada has recommended. They can't save themselves, what to speak of saving you. So the idea is to turn to the pure devotee of the Lord, who descends into this world as Guru, Jagat Guru, in this case with Srila Prabhupada, to instruct the world on how to get back home. If you've lost your way, you need the roadmap. So the roadmap is these Vedic literatures. And when we read the stories of the Vedic literatures, we see the actions and activities of God and all of his associates. And we can see the difference between good and evil, right and wrong, what should be done, what should not be done, and what is chivalrous and what is nonsense. So now what we do is we glorify the criminals. We think they're the coolest guys, right? All the criminals are cool cats. This is an unusual situation, because to want to be like a criminal or to glorify a criminal means that you yourself could easily be influenced in that direction, which causes a karmic reaction, and that karmic reaction generally causes pain and suffering. So this is what we're trying to avoid, and we can learn to avoid it and understand it through these various stories. Does that help with you a little bit, Philip, to give you some context of what we're talking about here? Are there any
Yeah, that
questions?
makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah, I understand it.
you got any questions on this first chapter that we just read? Any thoughts?
No questions. Definitely an intense battle going on for sure.
But it's getting ready to happen even more, because now Dantavakra, he's getting ready to jump into the ring. See, demons think that I'm the strongest, I'm the most powerful, I'm the most wealthy. no one can challenge me. And then when they get in a battle and they find out that they're humiliated, it's not so nice. So this has already happened here in this situation with Śālva. So let's continue to read on chapter 78, the killing of Dantavakra, Vidūratha, and Romaharṣaṇa. So this is a wonderful chapter too, because Lord Balaram, which is Krishna's brother, he gets involved in the end of this chapter. Let's see how many verses we have here. 40. So these are two fairly short chapters. It shouldn't take a moment. And then we'll kind of retouch on some of the most important points in these two chapters. So who's available to read starting on text 1 in the next chapter? Can you read? Do you want to read that, Philip? Are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Let's
Okay.
see. Sukadeva Goswami said, acting out of friendship for Sisupala, Śālva, and Pondraka, who had passed on to the next world, the wicked Dantavakra appeared on the battlefield in a great rage. O king, all alone, on foot, and wielding a club in his hand, the mighty warrior shook the earth with his footsteps. Seeing Dantavakra approach, Lord Krishna quickly picked up his club, jumped down from his chariot, and stopped his advancing opponent just as the shore holds back the ocean. Raising his club, the reckless king of Kṛishna said to Lord Mukunda, what luck to have you come before me today. You are our maternal cousin, Krishna, but you committed violence against my friends, and now you want to kill me also. Therefore, fool, I will kill you with my thunderbolt club. Then, O unintelligent one, I, who am obliged to my friends, will have repaid my debt to them by killing you, my enemy disguised as a relative, who are like a disease within my body. Thus, trying to harass Lord Krishna with harsh words, as one might prick an elephant with sharp goads, Dantavakra struck the Lord on the head with his club and roared like a lion. Although hit by Dantavakra's club, Lord Krishna, the deliverer of the Yadas, did not budge from his place on the battlefield. Rather, with his massive Komodaki club, the Lord struck Dantavakra in the middle of his chest. His heart shattered by the club's blow, Dantavakra vomited blood and fell lifeless to the ground, his hair disheveled and his arms and legs sprawling. A most subtle and wondrous spark of light then rose from the demon's body and entered Lord Krishna, while everyone looked on, O king, just as when Sisupala was killed. But then Dantavakra's brother Vidūratha, immersed in sorrow over his brother's death, came forward breathing heavily, sword and shield in hand. He wanted to kill the Lord. O best of kings, as Vidūratha fell upon him, Lord Krishna used his razor-edged Sudarsana disc to remove his head, complete with its helmet and earrings.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah.
Awesome.
Keep reading if you like to. It's sounding really good, man. You're doing a great job.
Okay, cool. Having thus destroyed Śālva and his Śālva airship, along with Dantavakra and his younger brother, all of whom were invincible before any other opponent, the Lord was praised by demigods, human beings, and great sages, by Siddhas, Gandharvas, Vinyaharas, and Maharajas, and also by Apsaras, Pitas, Yaksas, Kinnaras, and Karanas. As they sang his glories and showered him with flowers, the Supreme Lord entered his festively decorated capital in the company of the most eminent Vrishnis. Thus, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master all mystic power and Lord of the universe, is ever victorious. Only those of beastly vision think he sometimes suffers defeat. Lord Balarama then heard that the Kurus were preparing for war with the Pandavas. Being neutral, he departed on the pretext of going to bathe in holy places. After bathing at Prabhasa and honoring the demigods, sages, forefathers, and prominent human beings, he went in the company of Brahmanas to the portion of the Sarasvati that flows westward into the sea. Lord Balarama visited the broad Bindusaras lake, Tritukupa, Sudusarna, Visala, Brahmaturha, at Kakratitra, and the eastward flowing Sarasvati. He also went to all the holy places along the Yamuna and the Ganges, O Bharata, and then he came to the Naimisa forest, where great sages were performing an elaborate sacrifice. Recognizing the Lord upon his arrival, the sages, who had engaged in their sacrificial rituals for a long time, greeted him properly by standing up and bowing down and worshiping him. After being thus worshipped along with his entourage, the Lord accepted a seat of honor. Then he noticed that Romaharṣaṇa, Vyasadeva's disciple, had remained seated. Lord Balarama became extremely angry upon seeing how this member of the Sutta castle had failed to stand up, bow down, or join his palms, and also how he was sitting above all the learned Brahmanas.
Okay. All right. That's beautiful. Let's see. Now, Rawati is with us from all the way from South America. So let's see if she wants to read. Are you there? Can you hear us? Just trying to make sure. Are you there, Rawati? Okay. She's not coming on board. So if that's the case, there's only about 6 more verses. Why don't you continue to read, man? You're doing a great job. We've already had our turn. So please continue. Yeah.
Gotcha. Lord Balarama said, because this fool, born from an improperly mixed marriage, sits above all these Brahmanas, and even above me, the protector of the religion, he deserves to die. Although he is a disciple of the divine sage Vyasa and has thoroughly learned many scriptures from him, including the law books of religious duties and the epic histories of and Puranas, all this study has not produced good qualities in him. Rather, his study of the scriptures is like an actor studying his part, for he is not self-controlled or humble, and vainly presumes himself a scholarly authority, though he has failed to conquer his own mind. The very purpose of my descent into this world is to kill such hypocrites who pretend to be religious. Indeed, they are the most sinful rascals. Sukadeva Goswami continued. Although Lord Balarama had stopped killing the impious, Romaharṣaṇa's death was inevitable. Thus, having spoken, the Lord killed him by picking up a blade of kusa grass and touching him with its tip. All the sages cried out, "Alas, alas!" in great distress. They, Lord Sankasana, O Master, you have committed an irreligious act. O favorite of the Yadus, we gave him the seat of the spiritual master and promised him long life and freedom from physical pain for as long as this sacrifice continues. You have unknowingly killed a Brahmana. Of course, even the injunctions of revealed scripture cannot dictate to you, the Lord of all mystic power. But if by your own free will you nonetheless carry out the prescribed purification for slaying this of a Brahmana, O purifier of the whole world, people in general will greatly benefit by your example. The personality of Godhead said, I will certainly perform the atonement for this killing, since I wish to show compassion to the people in general. Please, therefore, prescribe for me whatever ritual is to be done first. O sages, just say the word, and by my mystic power I shall restore everything you promised him, long life, strength, and sensory power. The sages said, Please see to it, O Rama, that your power and that of your Kusa weapon, as well as our promise and Romaharṣaṇa's death, all remain intact. The Supreme Lord said, The Vedas instruct us that one's own self takes birth again as one's son. Thus let Romaharṣaṇa's son become the speaker of the Puranas, and let him be endowed with long life, strong senses, and stamina. Please tell me your desire, O best of sages. I shall certainly fulfill it, And O wise souls, please carefully determine my proper atonement, since I do not know what it might be. The sages said, a fearsome demon named Balvala, the son of Ilvala, comes here every new moon day and contaminates our sacrifice. O descendant of Dasara, please kill that sinful demon who pours down pus, blood, feces, urine, wine, and meat upon us. This is the best service you can do for us. Thereafter, for 12 months, you should circumambulate the land of Bhagavatam in a mood of serious meditation, executing austerities and bathing at various holy pilgrimage sites. In this way, you will become purified.
Beautiful, man.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
That is amazing. All right. Well, you did a great job, especially, I don't know if you know all these words, but it sure seems like you do.
I do not.
You're doing a great job of reading through them. I'll tell you that. Really, really.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes it's very difficult to understand some of these Sanskrit words because they don't just roll off the tongue in the Western dialect, if you know what I mean. So I thought you did an exceptional job, and we're very grateful for you to be here. Now, do we have any questions immediately that come to mind about any of this philosophy or thoughts or what you've read here today? Does anybody have any question or any comment they'd like to make before we review these two chapters?
Do we know what their airships looked like?
Well, it says it was made of iron. It was made out of iron.
Iron, what's that? I wonder.
IRON.
Iron.
Iron. Thank you. What is that, huh?
Iron.
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 You don't know. You don't know how to say that word, do you?
Iron. Iron.
Maybe I don't know how to say it.
So they were iron ships. Were they okay. Were they drawn by horses like we see the demigods on their airships?
No, I think these had some self-propulsion. You know, there's a description of the Vimana in one of the Puranas. And I'll tell you a little story about this because, you know, everybody's so right now enamored with UFOs and first contact, and they're here and they've been here. And, you know, there's so much of this stuff you see online and so much speculation about it. But the Vedas clear up all of those doubts and misunderstandings. You just read, Philippe, you just read a few seconds ago that there are all of these different personalities, and we would call aliens from other planets that come to the world at different times. Some of the names of these are the Siddhas, Gandharvas, Vidyaharas, Amarorgas, and Apsaras, Pitas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Channaras. So these are just a few of the names of the types of demigods that live either in the lower worlds. There's three basic sections of the world: the lower, the middle, and the higher worlds. The higher worlds are filled with pious individuals in the mode of goodness. That is called the heavenly planets. That's where the demigods live. Demi means partial. God means that he has some ability. So there are many, many millions and millions of demigods that live in the heavenly planets, and they serve the Lord very carefully. Now, in the lower planets, there are many asuras, but they're also very powerful. And they work generally under the auspices and direction of Yamaraj, who is the Lord of Death. Now, there are different planets there as well, so not all of them engage in that activities. But there are clashes between these two great forces of good and evil, or good and bad. So the lower planetary systems are generally described as in the mode of ignorance. The mode of ignorance. In other words, they don't know, and they may or may not be living according to conclusive truth. As a matter of fact, there was an incident one time, getting off the story a little bit, but an incident one time where Ajamil was being taken back to Godhead by the Vishnu Dutas, who are from obviously the spiritual world. And they came to claim his soul because he had called out the name of God at the time of death. Actually, what he had called out was in the Muslim dialect haram. Haram means horrible because he was being gored and disemboweled by boar, a wild boar that he was trying to kill for his sustenance. He was killing this animal. So, but because he had called out one syllable, the two syllables, ha and ra, because we have hare, and we also have rama. So he called out these syllables. The Vishnu Dutas, or the angelic ones, came to save him and were taking his soul from his body. The Yamaduta stopped him and said, how is this possible? He's committed such great sinful activities in his life. He's scheduled to go to see the Lord of Death. So they stopped them. The Vishnu Duta stopped them and had overwhelming power over these Yamadutas. So when the Yamadutas go back to talk to Lord Yamaraj, they said, we thought you were the supreme God. How is this possible that there's a God higher than you? And Yamaraj himself explained in no uncertain terms that no, I'm a servant of Vishnu, our God. God as Vishnu is preserving the world, creating the world through Brahma, destroying it through his expansion as Shiva. And so there's creation, maintenance, and annihilation at the end. So this is perfectly done by the Lord. And the Lord empowers all these living entities to do what they do. As a matter of fact, everything you see is an expansion of the creation of God. We're all little bitty, if you want to say Radha and Krishna's, because we're created in the image of the Lord in the human form of life. But there's so many other forms of life, some with 4 arms, some with 6, some with even more, and some with more than 1 head. Even our Lord Brahma has 4 heads. So the idea is these things are not very fantastic when you take them into consideration of the capability of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma himself said, Ishvara Parama Kṛishna Satchidananda Vigraha Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So that means that God is actually one without a second. In other words, no one is equal to nor greater than that personality. And everything expands from that singularity. Everything, including all of us. And so we're all parts and parcels of the Lord, and the Lord lives with us as Paramatma within the heart. Bhagavad Gita says there are 2 birds sitting on one branch. One is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other is simply observing. So the Paramatma is observing your activities, and as a result, recording your karmic, retribution. So it'll either be good in the higher planets, or it could be lower in the lower planets, or it could be back again in the animal species if one falls into the mode of ignorance and forgets the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to somehow or the other become God conscious. So in the Bhagavad Gita, in 15.8, it says that the living entity in the material world carries with him different conceptions of life from one body to the next, just like the air is carrying aromas. So why is it that you're born in a certain type of family, in a certain country, with a certain amount of beauty, wealth, fame, power, or you may be born deformed or whatever? Is it just God is mean? He just didn't like you or something? Is that what it is? Some people are asking these questions and they don't have an answer. They're saying, why is bad things happening to good people? Or why do good things happen to bad people? They don't have an answer for these things. So this is being explained easily in Bhagavad Gita, that you carry your conception of life with you, just like the air carries aroma, and you go to another body. It's just called the wheel of samsara. In other words, we're spinning on the wheel of samsara from childhood to youth to a little maturity, offspring. We give a little time, we grow a little old, we become diseased, and then we die. And then we go back through this cycle again and again and again and again until we become liberated. Liberated means that we no longer have to take a material body in the material world, but we attain our original Swarup Siddhi. Your Swarup Siddhi means your existence as a pure soul, your pure energy soul. It's called Satchidananda Vigraha. It's full of knowledge, eternality, bliss with form as an eternal youth, according to the Vedic literature. So any questions about that right now, Philippe? Did I make that kind of clear to you there? or
Yeah, you made it clear. Yeah, that makes Yeah, I understand.
Got that?
It's a
Okay.
lot of information.
Yeah, so it's karma that leads us to the next body, and we're born with a certain amount of wealth according to what we deserve. We create our destiny by our individual activities, of which we have control over, or maybe not.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have control over it, then our karma will control us, and we'll find ourselves in some pretty bad predicaments as we go along.
Mm.
I have to be very, very careful. So the idea, though, that Rangavati was asking is that one time there was a air show of a Vimana in the 1800s when Britain had conquered England. And this is in a newspaper in India, India Times or whatever it was at the time. And one of the, I don't know that it was the queen, but it was somebody similar to the queen, very high royalty, and her husband. And they were there with thousands and thousands of people to witness this demonstration of India's scientific prowess. Because, by the way, if you go back to the Vedas, you can find a conclusion for the astrology, what's on every star, what are the purpose of the universe, why are we here, what have people, how did we get here, how do we get out of here, and what is the purpose of all of these activities? Why is there religion? Why do we follow religion? Where does it get us? Where can we go? All these questions we want to know. So they were demonstrating the scientific superiority of India's great history, and there was a Vimana demonstration. And I think it's called a mercury vortex engine or whatever it is, but it creates the ability to do all types of things that we cannot do. We can't do these things. So during the display, the Vimana started up and lifted up into the sky and was able to do all these various exercises in the sky. And when the royalty, the queen or whoever it was that was there, saw this, she immediately fainted.
Wow.
Because it freaked her out. I mean, here she's looking at something that's not possible, not
Yeah.
humanly possible. And she see this is in the
Her.
1800s, 1890s, I believe, is when this took place, and it's
That must
recorded
have been
in the
crazy.
newspaper. So after she passed out because she was overwhelmed with this demonstration, the whole show had to stop naturally. I mean, here she's the leader, so when she
Yeah.
passed out, they shut the whole program down, and no
That's
more was mentioned about it.
that's super interesting. I do know that event you're talking about. So
Really?
that's yeah. I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, even in depictions in the Sistine Chapel or in Rome or wherever, there are depictions of Vimanas flying around. Uh, if you look at the pictures very, very carefully, you'll find that they're painted in by the artist.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Show them
That's
in the
awesome.
background.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we see here that these people were at a time where, number one, they had powers that are beyond our understanding. And why? Why would they have powers that are beyond our understanding? Do you have any idea? Why?
Oh, they were aware of more things than the average and individuals that were not
Not just
connected.
aware, but they were living in accordance with natural laws and harmony of the universe primarily. And so therefore they gathered and they practiced this art of mantra, and sound vibration creates everything. For an example, they would have arrows that they could infuse with nuclear power through mantra, simply by the vibration itself to create that. And then would fire that, and it would create that effect, or it could kill thousands of soldiers with whatever power that they were able to infuse. And this demon Śālva was a great magician. They called him a magician because he could create all these illusions. Like, for an example, he took Krishna's, father Vasudeva and brought him before him on the battlefield and held him up and
Mhm.
cut his head off and then carried his head away. And Krishna, for a moment, allowed that yoga. It's called Yoga Maya. We're in Mahamaya. Mahamaya means we're in a great illusion. Yoga Maya means Krishna's doing it as a pastime for the purpose, the benefit of everyone that he's engaging. because Krishna is fulfilling everyone's desires since time immemorial, according to Bhagavad Gita. So whatever you want, you have to understand he's dealing with millions and trillions of individuals simultaneously. So he brings them all together in these catalytic ways and engages them to fulfill their karmic retribution. So it's an amazing choreography, or what you might call screenwriting, of all of these incredible pastimes that the Lord is doing for your benefit. The Lord himself doesn't need any of this. He's completely self-satisfied. The Vedas say that the Bhagavad Gita says that the Lord's equal to everyone. But if you act as a friend to him, he then will act as a friend to you. But if you're a demon and you want to kill the Lord like these people do, the Lord will oblige you. But the difference is when he kills you, he liberates you simultaneously. Whereas we kill someone, we get bad karma, don't we? And we have to be killed in the same way we killed, by the way. Because the law of nature is equal and opposite reaction. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And you stop and think about that a minute.
Yeah.
And that's got the long-ranging ramifications. And somehow or another, God is so intelligent that he's recorded every single action, and you are given your equal reaction as part of his mercy and kindness upon you. So really, whatever you desire, you may have. So you have to be very, very careful, because God is a loving father and a great friend. And so if you ask him for something, you have to be careful. What we found in these readings in the Srimad Bhagavatam is that the great souls don't ask for anything. When they do something that pleases God, and God comes before them and goes, yes, what would you like? Because you can, please God, help me, God, please God, help me. Go, okay, here I am. What do you want? Sometimes they ask for things that are not good for them, and we see the outcome. But the pure devotees don't ask for anything except for additional service to the Lord. They just be engaged in your service. So it's a wonderful thing. So if we're carrying these conceptions with us throughout our bodies and so forth, the idea of Srimad Bhagavatam, the idea of God coming to the material world again and again, is to create the right conception. Otherwise, it's just your opinion, right? I mean, you could create your own religion today, Philippe. You could say, this is the Philippe religion. This is how I feel. This is my opinion. How many people can I get to follow me? And you could do like that. Yet people are doing it. I mean, there's tens of thousands of denominations that cause, obviously, infighting and division and dissension. So is that what we're looking for? I don't think so. Now, what we're looking for is a unity of all souls, beyond religion, beyond race, beyond creed, beyond color, beyond, nationality, beyond any of these things. We find the truth. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, right in the very beginning, it says that the learned Brahmana means a person who's elevated and understands who is God and self-realized. That person sees with equal vision gold or stool. He doesn't see the difference in the two. He sees the dog or the dog eater, or he sees the humble sage. He sees it all with equal vision, and he knows that inside each one of us is a soul equal in nature, as part and parcel, qualitatively one with God, yet different. It's called a Chinta Beta Beta Tattva. Chinta Beta Beta means simultaneously one with God, but different. Just like a drop of water is not the same as the whole ocean, but is qualitatively the same, but not quantitatively. So no individual soul can boast, yes, I've created the universe, I've done this, I've done that. But these demons who become very powerful and intoxicated with false ego, thinking, yes, I'm my prowess, see how great I am now, I will destroy you, I've killed all my enemies, I'm perfect, powerful, happy, I'm wealthy, I'm famous. What more could I have? So I give a little bit in charity so that people will worship me properly. This is the mindset of the demon. So much is mine now, so much more I will have in the future. And they're looking to possess the world. They want to be God. So they see God as a competitor, not as a friend. They see God not as a father, a loving father, but as a arch nemesis. But even they are killed by the Lord. They enter into the Lord's body and receive liberation. You see what I mean?
That's when the light goes up in him.
Yeah, exactly. So the light came out of the body of Śālva, the light came out of the body of Shishupal, the light came out of the body of Kamsa. I mean, we can go back in all of these stories that we've read. You haven't heard them all, but if you go back through the YouTube channel, you can hear every one of these stories. They're magnificent stories. What we find is that when the Lord kills one of these demon kings, normally they come like a meteor and they emerge into the body of the Lord. And normally that's an impersonal understanding of the Lord. The Lord is just like the sun has the sun shine. Okay. But that's not the sun globe, is it? No. The globe is behind the shine. So the shine is emanating as an aura from the globe. Just like you, if we could take certain photography, we could see that around you is this glowing light. Did you know that? Yeah, it's called an aura. Everybody's got one. And you can rub auras, you can feel things with auras that you don't feel with even your senses. So the idea is, you come upon somebody, I don't like that person right away, or I feel very connected. And that's all because the aura is experiencing that sensation. So so the light has left the body and passed away from the mortal coil, so to speak, and now has entered into the body of the Lord. And some of them are given liberation to go back to the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha, where they live kingly lives, where the streets are bedecked with gold and rubies. We've heard all this in the Bible. But beyond that is a place called Goloka, or Goloka Vrindavan. And that's a place where Kṛishna has his most intimate personal pastimes, parental pastimes, friendship pastimes, paramour pastimes like that. The very loving, very, very intimate dealings with his great devotees. So Kṛishna says, Varvasya chaham hridi sanivishto, and this is meaning I am situated in the hearts of everyone. I am in their hearts. And from me come knowledge and remembrance, as well as forgetfulness. All of these things are coming by the Lord. And he says, I can be known by the Vedas, which are these writings we're reading, which are thousands of years old in Sanskrit. Indeed, he's the compiler of the Vedanta. He's known as Veda Vyas, and he takes a literary incarnation to compile these Vedic literatures. God comes in that incarnation. But he goes on to say that Bhaktyamam abhijananti yavanyas chasmi tatvataha tato mang tatvatogyadva visite tad anantaram. And this means that you can only understand God as he is by devotional service. Not by your scholarship, not by your severe austerity, performing austerity. We heard earlier that I believe it was Śālva. Yeah, Śālva was the one who fasted for a year, eating only one handful of dust per day, worshiping Lord Shiva to get the power to kill Kṛishna. So he wanted to kill Kṛishna, so he eats a handful of dust every day for a year. Other demons, like Hiranyakashipu, would stand with their arms stretched up on their tiptoes until the ants ate away all of their body flesh, and they lived in the marrow of their bones. This is an example sometimes they give of Christ, that he was on the cross and they killed him and they stabbed him to make sure he was dead. They went right through his liver and his heart, That's how they would do. They would shove the spear all the way through. So they'd make sure there's no way that he could survive. He had already died, but they thought. So then they plunged the spear all the way through him just to make sure, right? But in 3 days, he rose. So how's this possible? So Prabhupada teaches us we are not the body. You are not that body. You are not that body. That body is earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. But above that is the intelligence, and above that is the soul. So the soul is sitting as if on a machine made of material energy, and the soul comes through the seminal, the little sperm, right? The little fishy, all right? I don't know if you know this or not. This is kind of interesting. I heard there were up to 100 million of those, and each time, it goes into the womb of the woman. There's 100 million of those that are swimming trying to get to the egg. But it's an obstacle course, and what happens basically, they all die. Almost all of them die. Occasionally, one will get to the egg, and he keep banging his head on the wall of the egg. Finally, when he gets through the egg and he meets inside the embryo, there's a flash of light, and that's when life is created. I mean, that's when this new body is created. You might say not when life is created. Obviously, the sperm are alive. How could you swim? Swimming. They're like tadpoles, right? There's millions of them. So what a battle. 100 million die, and one might make it. That's how you got here. We all got here in the same way. So the idea is that if you want to understand God, you could try to build the Tower of Babylon. You can build it all the way to heaven. You can build a staircase to heaven. You can do whatever you want to do, but you're not going to get God like that. He's not subjected to your demands. You could say, where is God? Why is he not here now? Show me God. If there's a God, show me. This is the ranting of a demoniac mind. And in the story of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu is a great demon. Prahlad's his devotee son, and he's going to kill his own son, cut his own son's head off because he won't be a demon like his dad. He won't follow in the footsteps of his kingly father who wants him to be a demon, a worldly son. But instead, he keeps preaching to him about the power coming from God. He said, even your power comes from God. He said, what? No. He said, where is your God now? And so he says, is he in this column? And he strikes the column with his fist, and from this comes this amazing incarnation called Nrsimhadev. Have you heard of Nrsimhadev?
Yeah.
Half man, half lion. You need to hear this story. It's an amazing story, and it's been told throughout all history, again and again and again, in these great literatures that we study. So that's the idea. So even Kṛishna goes on to say, Sarva Dharma Parityajya Mamikam Saranam Braja Ham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshaishami Ma Suchaha. It means that you should abandon all these varieties of religion and just surrender to me. He says, do not fear, I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So these divisions are man-made. There's really only one real religion. It's known as Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal. Dharma means to function. What is that? It's to love one another and love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Just like Christ taught. He was a perfect bhakti yogi. Perfect bhakti yogi. So these are just some thoughts. We haven't gone over the details of this chapter, and it's already 8 o'clock. But because you're here tonight, Philippe, I wanted to be careful to kind of discuss some of this basic philosophy, so you could kind of get a real handle on why all these things you're reading are happening. You know what I mean?
Yep, I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
So
that's definitely a lot.
That's good. So any questions or thoughts you have or anybody else has about this stuff? Because there's so much of this we could go back through. Balaram's tour why he killed Romaharṣaṇa. Romaharṣaṇa was sitting on the seat with the sages of Romaharṣaṇa, getting ready to do this 1,000-year sacrifice. And
he didn't humble himself.
yeah, he wasn't humble. He wouldn't get up. He was thinking, I'm
Yeah.
pumped up. I'm the man. Look at me. Everybody else get up, but I'm the. And that's exactly the opposite of what we're supposed to have. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu set this example in his verse, Trinata Pisanichana, Trarora Pisa Sishnuna, Manina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. What it means is that if you really want to be a devotee and you want to be able to chant nonstop. I mean, chanting is the way back home. Okay. So chanting means I've got God's name emanating from me all the time. It's very auspicious. You call God, he comes to you. It's a beautiful thing. You want to stay connected in yoga all the time. So that's the idea, yoked with the Lord. So he says to do this, though, you have to become humble. You have to feel yourself lower than even the straw in the street, more tolerant than even a tree. How tolerant is a tree? You can come and cut it down. You can take the leaves from it. You can take its fruit. You can take the nuts. You can peel the bark off. You can saw it and make a house out of it. You can burn it.
Yeah.
Does it ever say no? It never says no. It always says, yes, please take me, whatever you need. I'm here for you. Well, Krishna loves the trees. He also loves the cows because the cows take a little grass and give you the most perfect food you could ever put in your body, which is milk. That's fact. So the land of milk and honey. You've heard about it.
Yes, I have.
Okay, guys. So what else do we have? We got Vamsi over here. Normally Vamsi is real good about bringing up some nice points. Are you still with us, Vamsi? Seem like
Yes,
you. There you are.
yes, Prabhuji. I'm running some errands, but I'm just thinking about how Krishna covered his intelligence with the Yoga Maya to think that he lost his father to this demon, and he's showing that it is okay to grieve. We usually say, everybody's a soul. Nobody actually dies because the body dies, but the soul doesn't. But then we are going to miss that relationship. So when someone dies, we do have to grieve, and the Lord was crying himself. So I think that we do. We grieve and then we move on, understanding that it's only the body that died and the soul has gone to a better place.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Now that you've mentioned that, I should also tell you that this class is dedicated to a dear, dear friend of ours, Viprahita, which is Rama Raghava's father, who just passed away. Rama Raghava is a dear, dear god brother of mine. And we go and visited with him in his home and so forth and so on. And his father, who was a great, great devotee of the Lord, has just passed away. So, Viprahita, we want to acknowledge your service and pray for you and your sojourn back home, back to Godhead. I'm sure you're with Prabhupada at this time. And Rama Raghav and your family, we pray that you guys find some peace in all of that knowledge, knowing that he has achieved the greatest success of all. So we miss him, and it's our loss. So you are correct. Yes, we're suffering in his absence, no question. But we're also in the knowledge that he is going to live on and continue his service in perpetuity. So there's really no such thing as death. Krishna explained that to Arjuna immediately because Arjuna had become too attached to his family and his affairs with his teachers and his compadres and so forth in the military. He didn't want to kill anyone. And Krishna says, well, unfortunately, it doesn't matter because the soul lives forever. There's no death for the soul. It cannot be cut into pieces, moistened by water, withered by the wind, burned, chopped. It can't be anything. It can't be divided. The soul is eternal, immutable, unchangeable. And so Krishna explains all that directly to Arjuna, and he says, and if you think that the soul perpetually is born and dies again, so what? That's just what it does, if that's what you believe. However, that's not factual. So he tells Arjuna, he says, then you should get up, rise, and fight O chastiser of the enemy. Because in this material world, there are enemies. And there are those who would like to kill Krishna. Certainly, they'd like to kill you. In many cases, they'd like to do it for about $5 or $10, if you know what I'm saying. So the idea is these personalities are wreaking havoc on innocent souls, and therefore they must be relieved of their karmic reaction. So Krishna gives us this holy name, chanting of the holy names. He gives us this shastra to study. He gives us prasadam. When we offer our food to God, it becomes prasadam, the mercy of God. He offers us the opportunity to see him in the temple in his deity form, murti form, to associate with the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, and to offer prayers and to offer gifts to one another, and all these types of things which are designed to bring about literally a revolution in the hearts and mind of a misdirected civilization. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's very clear. In 126 in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Savai Pumsang Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Hoksajay Haitu Kiya Pratiyata Yayatma Suprasidati. This means that the only real occupation, there may be other occupations, but the supreme occupation for every single soul, everywhere, in humanity anyway, is that by which one can attain to the loving devotional service and to the transcendent Lord, to God above this material creation, creator of. And it says that such devotional service must be rendered in an unmotivated and uninterrupted way to completely satisfy the soul inside of a person's body. Because this is what we're made for. This is the purpose of our creation. It's not that we are just randomly here. There's no meaning to life. It's by chance. Chandrasekhar and I, my dear God brother, were talking about, we saw a picture of a cell, and inside one single cell, there are hundreds of thousands of different things moving on, going on. You wouldn't even believe it. It's crazy, but it all works in perfect harmony. So some atheist somewhere trying to disprove the existence of God is saying that all this is by chance. Well, let me see you take a bunch of rocks and stones and some trees and whatever you got, put it in a pile, blow it up, and give me a Rolex. Okay, I want it. I want to see that Rolex. It's not going to happen. It's his most ridiculous thing. This is the philosophy of fools. Person who wants to be fooled can easily become an atheist. Not a problem. Otherwise, everywhere you look, you see God. Everywhere you look, you see the intelligence of God, the miracle of God. Just look out into space. You'll see trillions of stars in 1 square inch. What do you think all that's for? Who do you think all created all that? What's the purpose behind it? Well, you should know. And that's why you should attend regularly these classes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and hear from devotees of the Lord who are devoted to the Lord. Don't hear from Mayavadis whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. Don't hear from people who are speculating and giving you their opinion. Everybody's got an opinion, if you know what I mean. And you can find out where that leads, but I would not trust your soul to that information. Always go back to the original truth, and that can be found in the oldest known writings that have been unchanged for millennium in the Sanskrit language, in these Vedas. There are several Vedas: Atharva, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Rik Veda, Jyotir Veda, Ayurveda. So many Vedas, and they all describe the original knowledge of mankind, how to live in this world, what should be done, what should not be done, and how to please the Lord is the main thing. Because until you please the Lord, ain't nothing else going to happen good. Okay, so we need to make that our priority. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God. It says, so Idam Bhagavatam Mama, Puranam Brahma Samitam. That means that this is the Samitama, the song about that personality, Bhagavan. Bhagavan means God. So it's compiled by the literary incarnation of God. And it's meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful. It is all blissful, and it is all perfect. And we challenge anyone to take a test drive of these great Vedic literatures and let us know how you feel about it. It's a scientific experiment. So you need to subject yourself to these truths, feel the benefits of them, and share with everyone else. Guys, we're going over. We always do. So I don't know what else to tell you. I wanted to go back through the individual parts of the chapter. There's like 15 or 16 verses that could stand some additional study, but we're out of time. So I do recommend that when you get a chance, go back through these verses and reread them again and again and again. You'll find out some wonderful realizations that will enlighten you and bring your heart into a position of love and devotion to the transcendent Lord. And that's our purpose here tonight. So any further questions or comments?
I'm good. Yeah.
You did, baby. All
Very
right.
grateful. Very grateful.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. We're
Thank
headed
you.
out tomorrow to Sadhu Sangha. Do you know what that is? Sadhu? Sadhu means the saintly person. Sangha means to get the association of those persons.
Sadhu.
There'll be 5,000 people in New Orleans at a convention. We'll be chanting for about 4 days solid, about 16 hours a day.
That's
So
awesome.
we hope to come back purified.
Nice. Good luck. That's tight. Good job.
You maybe go with us next year, okay?
Yeah. That sounds super cool.
We'll have these 3 amazing meals a day. I mean, you're going to come out about 100 pounds heavier, okay? So get ready. Get ready. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And as usual, same time. Well, actually, yeah, I guess same time, same station next week, right? Okay. So we're good. And we'll continue these great stories and histories from the great Vedic literatures and Puranas. So any other?
I might be a little late putting out the leaflet because we are, singing and dancing and feasting and festival for the whole weekend, and then it continues Monday night as well. So we don't come down until Tuesday, re-enter the atmosphere sort of thing.
Never come back down.
But otherwise we'll be here and it's the same login details, same time, so it never changes.
So repeat
Awesome.
after me, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare
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 Rama.
Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare
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 Rama.
Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Thank you. Please pray for Gayatri Das. I need your prayers regularly, and I'll pray for you as well. Okay. I'll see you next week.
See you
That's good.
Bumpsy as well on
Yes.
Friday.
Yes, Mataji. Looking forward. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Nice to
Krishna.
meet you too, Philip. We'll see you
Yeah,
next
nice
time.
to meet you. Have a good one. Hare
All right.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo.